FedEx and the U.S. Postal Service got me jacked up. I was looking for my damn package today. You know, I got my Tom Fords in there.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit, we got a damn you know what you call it, substitute mail person. And I swear
Oh,
that
okay.
they ain't bringing no packages, only letters. So it was supposed
It's
to be
like
here
it's
today.
almost like they don't want to do the hard. They don't want to do the hard part of the job.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we are up and live.
All right.
Make sure real
What's
quick.
up, family? Perfect draw to the rescue. I got
Perfect
it.
draw. Man, I don't even know where mine is. I'm gonna have to.
I know you don't. I know you don't. You and I don't see you shedding too many tears by not knowing where the perfect draw is. But
no, but you know what though, I will say I still am very appreciative for brother Ventez and A-Rod for purchasing that for me, because like I said, it's better to have the tool and not need it than to need it and to not have it. So I am appreciative of it. So
they are trying to show you the error of your ways, but you are still being a little. I'm gonna use one of my big college roads, recalcitrant. You still being a little recalcitrant, but it's okay.
you know how it could be sometimes though. So I admit that though. I admit it.
Hey, listen, me too. And the reason why I know that word is because I had a boss who called me that, and I was like, I had to get my damn dictionary out. Like, what the hell you say? The hell you call me?
And he probably took pride in it. Probably as soon as he said it, he was like, "Good, I'm gonna make him go back and look that word up and see what I called him."
And you know what? And you know, you kind of sneaking back like calcitrant.
That's
Yeah, I know what it means.
Yeah, I know what it means.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I say, well, welcome everybody. I don't know who all is in here.
Welcome, y'all.
Second episode of Two Wise Men. We talk about a multitude of topics. I'm sure you guys will be interested in what we got tuned in for you guys tonight. Unc over there, what are you, or not? Or not. But Unc, what you smoking over there?
Oh, tonight I got to give thanks to my brother Ken Campbell. Ken Campbell gave me this cigar in July of 2019. So I don't know how old it was when he got it, but I put an extra couple of years on it. And this is the.
Oh, you muted.
Huh?
I was saying you were muted for a second, but you unmuted.
Well, I didn't do nothing. So, let me say shout out and what's up to Ken Campbell again, who gave me this cigar a couple of years ago. Juan Lopez. There we go.
Lopez.
Hopefully, I'll stay unmuted because you know what they say with old people and technology, it can be dangerous.
Oh, no, I think, I saw you start talking and it just like it muted for a second and then it went away. So hopefully that was the only hiccup. But yeah, tonight I posted on Instagram, so I don't know if anybody that doesn't follow me on Instagram, they'll know that I've been battling some bad sinus and allergies for the past 4 or 5 days. So I actually haven't smoked. So I don't know necessarily if I'm going to end up smoking this, but if I am going to end up smoking, it's going to be this Tyrannical Buck by Jocelyn Krall. So
that's cool. I've smoked that cigar before. I don't have any memories of it, fond or otherwise. So.
Yeah, it's a there are some Connecticut's or some lighter cigars that I like, and this one's okay for me. It's not one of my favorites, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I hear you. And listen, so we got a bunch of different topics and a bunch of different stuff to talk about. So the first thing I need to talk about, and first, let me give a shout out to Ashhead Cigar Junkie, my brother. I got a little Elijah Craig, and I really should be shouting out Cowboy as well.
Shout out to John Wilhoit too, because John Wilhoit, that's his drinking choice.
And my brother Ak and the Leaf Legends from Philadelphia. Shout out to the Syndicate. We see y'all. We love y'all. We wouldn't be us without y'all for sure. So glad to have y'all. But hey, here's my question. Where the hell is the damn Kanye West album? I know I'm old, man, but how come I can't find the Kanye West album?
So it's been like one of those things where it's on the third release date, which is scheduled to release on the 15th. And now the quote unquote rumor is that he's waiting to release his album when Drake releases his, so they'll be like competing against each other. I don't know, like, me being a longtime Kanye fan, like he's done this kind of stuff in the past, so like it's frustrating, but then I'm not really that shocked. I was able to, I posted the link in the Syndicate page, so I was able to listen to the second live stream. I didn't get a chance to listen to it when he first did it, but I listened to the second one on Apple Music when he streamed it, and I liked what I heard. But of course, like I said, I'm a big Kanye West fan, but I don't know what goes on through his head sometimes. But you know what though? How he's kind of like freelances, and he's just kind of, you know what? The one thing I will say about Kanye, what I like about him is he just does whatever the hell he wants to do. You know, it's just kind of.
Yeah. You got to appreciate that. When you posted that link, I was like, well, I don't have no iPhone and I don't have no Apple Music. So I was like, okay, cool. You know, so another Friday went by. I was like, all right, well, it ought to be out here, you know, in my YouTube Red, whatever I got, YouTube Music. I couldn't find it nowhere. So then I was like, well, damn, let me go over here to Apple Music. I do have an account. Let me reactivate it, sign up for a 3-month trial, because maybe then I can go back and click the link that you sent and do it again. That would be a negative Ghost Rider. There wasn't no Kanye West album nowhere. So that's why I had to ask you. I'm like, well, damn, where is the album at? Because I heard everybody talking about it. I'm like, well, where is it?
Yeah, so I didn't realize that too, because like when he was streaming, it was probably like 10 or 10:30 at night my time. So right. I'm listening to it. I'm like, all right, I like what I'm hearing, but I'm also kind of going to sleep too. So when I woke up the next morning, not even thinking, I clicked back on the link again and it was gone. So I guess it was just literally the live stream. And then I felt like an asshole a little bit too, like, because when I sent y'all the link again, it was late at night, so I wasn't even thinking about if you didn't have an iPhone. So I was like, and then so you sent that in the morning. I'm like, yeah, I feel like a real piece of shit, right?
It's all right, man. Because hey, listen, you know we like to poke at the iPhone and the Android, and you know, one of my good girlfriends, I get at her all the time about that cheap ass iPhone you got, you know. But you know, I started out with iPhone, and then at some point I was like, all right, this is ridiculous. I can't just keep upgrading the damn phone every year for crazy amounts of money, you know.
And see, what's funny about that is I started the exact opposite. I was more Android, like when the Galaxy Note first came out, because I always have been attracted to big screens. Yeah. So the Galaxy Note at the time was like the biggest
had a
phone.
Big screen.
Yeah. So I was with it, and I used to have the BlackBerry with the ball, Palm Trio. If it had a big screen, I was all in. So, you know, and then when iPhone started finally catching up with screen size, I kind of converted over, and then, you know, just kind of, I think I tried to go back to an Android 4 or 5 years ago, and you get so used to whatever system. So the Android, you know, the Android users, I'll be sitting there saying how easy it is to use the iOS operating system, and they're like, man, this is hard. But it's like, well, you've been using Windows, or you've been using the Android system for so long. So
see, I started with both of them, you know, because in college we had Macs. And we also had Windows computers, so we programmed on Windows, and then we had other things that we did on the Macs, and so it was cool. So at one point, I thought about going over to iPhone, but with the music thing, I had a whole lot of bruh software that was at the time that was all Windows. So it was like, okay, if I go over to the Mac operating, you know, iOS, then now I gotta rebuy all of this software, and bruh didn't have iOS, so I stayed where I was. That's just kind of weird stuff, you know.
Yep. And so speaking of that too, I remember, so the most recent iPhones don't have the center button, and I got the last phone I had was the iPhone 7 Plus, which a lot of Apple heads considered like one of the best phones that they did.
That probably was right around the last one that I had.
And I think maybe the 8 had a center button too, but whatever, they stopped. And so I was prolonging upgrading because I didn't want to deal with not having the center button. I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to get used to that. And, you know, after 3 or 4 days, like everything else, you adapt. And now it's just kind of weird. I don't even, you know, the first couple of days, I still was trying to press the screen and all that other stuff. But
Yep.
Also, hey, too, go ahead. What were you finna say?
No, go ahead. Before we get out of here, we got to talk about DE25, but go ahead, what you got?
Yeah. So no, I know right before we went live, I know you were talking about your mailman and stuff too. I know you said you had some Tom Ford stuff coming in. What have you been wearing lately, fragrance wise?
Oh man, so I've been big on, and this is all thanks to you, I've been big on the Mancera stuff, right? So I've had the other day I wore the Hindu Kush, which I really like. I bought a big bottle of the red tobacco. I really like that one.
I think I'm gonna get that bottle too.
That bottle is nice in the summer, but I could see that being a nice fall scent as well, which is very nice. You put me on to the Lacoste Blanc. That's good. In fact, that's what I got on. That's what I got on today, you know.
It's
so
just fresh and clean. It's almost like I haven't met too many people that don't like somebody that smells fresh and clean.
Yeah.
Now, you know, you get like some of this stuff I'll be mentioning, you know, you got certain notes that some people like and they don't, but it's like, who doesn't like? I mean, I've never ran across anybody that has walked by me when I wore Prada, Amber, or something and said, you don't smell good. I don't like the way you smell. So.
Right. Now, you know the one that I don't like that you do like that your wife also hates? Oh, Pearl I gave to my wife. I was like, that was like so
too
strong.
Soft for you.
And it was just too strong. And it was just like, man, it was almost like, oh man, it was just everywhere, man.
Before you finish, I'm gonna tell you. So like, shout out to Equality Fragrances too. That's who I found out about Pearl from. So I grabbed a bottle and I got it there, and they said, "Man, be easy on the triggers." I'm like, "All right, whatever." You know, I'm always heavy with everything. So I sprayed about 6 sprays, and I went out the garage to go empty the trash, and I was just surrounded. It literally was like a bubble of fig, and I was like, "Oh my!" I walked back inside, and I was like, Nikki, I smell incredible. I don't care what you say.
She was probably like, that shit is killing me.
Oh, she was looking at me like, man, what the hell is wrong with you? I was like, I don't care what you say today. I know I smell good. Shit.
I'm gonna tell you what. I had on 4 sprays of that, and it was too much.
It's a powerhouse.
I went inside. I got my damn wash rag. I started washing that shit off. I was like, I can't take it. It's too much.
Sarah's strong.
Even after I washed it off, the whole rest of the day, I could still smell it. I was like, oh no. But that Pearl is the roughest one, man. I was like,
man, and you know what? You wouldn't think that something with like fig, I think, or fig, jasmine, some other, you know, like more, it's because it's literally marketed towards women.
It's more florally to me. So
yes, it has a real nice white floral to it, and it has a real prominent fig to me, but it's like, I'm not surprised. I know when you were talking about Sicily and Pearl, I knew you would like Sicily more.
Yeah, Sicily I like more. The lemon mint, I don't know, I'm in the middle on that. I liked it, I don't like it, I like it, so I'm kind of in the middle. But that Cedric Noir,
you don't like that one?
Nah, that ain't
for you. See, I like it, but it's so, a lot of people compare it to Creed Aventus, which is a really popular niche fragrance. Mm-hmm. And I've smelled a couple of different bottles of Creed, and I can tell, you know, like they have different batches. Some are more smoky, some are more fruity. But I like Cedric Boise. But you know how like you say all the time, Nikki says you like certain stuff, and you know it's just like. So the one I'm wearing today, you would absolutely hate too. This is by Christian Dior. This is Patchouli Imperial or Imperial.
Yeah, probably
oh my God.
I feel like if I put on that, I feel like I was I belong in the Move House in Philadelphia with some dreadlocks and this is a certain feeling for me and patchouli, man.
It's just something about patchouli vetiver. Like I don't know. It's just, and you know what Nikki said. I don't know why you like smelling like dirt. I'm like,
it reminds me of like Woodstock and the hippie movement, Muslim oils, and it's just it's
a Middle Eastern vibe to it too, but you know, like the oud and kind of has that earthy smell. It's kind of, it was really popular in the Middle East, and I think that the Western civilization is kind of starting to catch on to it. But it's funny because you'll talk to some of the people from the Middle East, and what they call Western oud isn't the same as like real oud. You know, real oud can get real fecal and animalic, and like the Western oud is not as hard. It's more.
I don't know yet because I haven't gotten any yet, but I'm getting there.
You'll get there. You're gonna text me one day, and the message is gonna say, "Nephew, this literally smells like shit."
And why would I want to put on something that smells like shit? Well, you smoke a cigar, and now it smells like tobacco and shit. Like I don't get it, you know. And so, like when you say, and no shade to my non-deodorant wearing brothers in their parts of the world, but it's just certain things, you know. It's like, okay, that smells like funk and perfume on top of funk. I don't know why I want to smell like that.
You know what? For me, it's like it's really kind of funny to see how like. no matter what you're doing, like even with me, like in fragrances, things that I smelled a year ago that I didn't like, I've turned around. I'm like, man, you know what? I could see how most people or the mass population won't like this, but something about it I like. Like this other one I got a sample of is called Oud Ispahan, which this camera's not that good, but it's mostly a rose and oud. And you know, right now I'm on a big rose kick. But this has oud in it, and it has like a soft animalic smell to it. Where a year ago I would have smelled this and be like, but now it's like, and even Nikki looked at it yesterday, and she was like, the first initial blast is really pungent, but after you get beside that, and you start smelling the rose and some of the other stuff, she's like, it's not that bad, you know. It's just kind of one of the things. It's just acquired. Well, I'll say to some people it's acquired. I ain't gonna just put everybody in the same category.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I was saying earlier about. I said I've been out here for the last 2 days looking for my mailman because I got a package coming, and in my package I got a decant of that Tom Ford Bitter Peach. That's the one that I'm most excited about. But I also
think Prudence wears that one too, huh?
Yeah, well, Prudence is a big dog. I'm finding out she's big dog. I thought she was like little lightweight with the cigars or whatever. And you see,
she had us all fooled at first, didn't she?
Hey, listen, Prudence be like this. Yeah, I'm on the way to work.
Oh, damn. She had us all fooled, man. Yep, I want to see what you think of that one, and then I also want to see how you feel about the gray vetiver too.
I got that one in there. I got somebody else's vetiver in there as well for a comparison. A couple of Tom Fords, but man, $328 for a bottle of damn perfume, I'm gonna call it. That's a bit much, man.
Yeah, I agree with that too. That's why I said some of the and most of the time you can find pretty much anything discounted except for Chanel. That's like the only one that like
you have to tell me where to find the Tom Ford, because everywhere I look, I see that same $328 price.
No, like, you know, I got you on it when I get the there's a few I want to buy too, and I'm not and we had the discussion the other day. I'm not paying $300 for Tom Ford because that's a pretty common.
I'm not paying $300 for nobody.
I ain't gonna say that, but you know,
I ain't doing it. It better say LeeMack912 on there if I'm paying $300 for it, and I'm getting half of that back in profit. It's coming back on the back end. Shit.
Oh man, no, I understand though wholeheartedly, because it's like I'm not gonna be very quick to throw that out for stuff either. It's got to be some groundbreaking, really unique stuff, and that for me, that's the one thing. It's like, if I am going to spend that kind of money for something, it's got to be unique. It's not, I don't want it to be something that I could walk around and it's pretty common. It's like, I ain't finna spend no $400 on something that everybody could wear.
Right. And now I'm going to tell you this, right? So shout out to my brother Rock. He one of the Leaf legends as well. And so when Rock was first trying to put me on to some cologne, and I was looking at the price, I just wasn't. I was like, yo, man, that shit above my damn pay grade. I had a full-time job at that point, and I was like, I ain't trying to hit. But he was like always posting something. I'm like, that shit costs $250 a bottle, right? What you talking about? And but now I kind of get it. But
you know, and you learn how to play the game too. Is like, you never buy anything at a retailer except certain stuff where you can't find it. But you never buy from a retailer and sample. Like
today, I was supposed to, but I got to go tomorrow because my wife was here today. But I was going to, what did I say I was going? Sephora. That's where I was going. You know, to smell up some stuff and try to find some samples and, you know, go in there and sweet talk my way out of some stuff and bring that and add it to my collection, you know. Because I ain't like you. See, I don't need 12,000 sprays to so mine will last a little while, you know.
Everybody's like, man, you get the big bottles and everything. I'm like, y'all don't know how I spray, man. That shit.
I'm gonna tell you, Ron sprayed so damn much. We was in Vegas. I probably said this shit last week. We was walking down the street. I was like, man, they big balling out here in Vegas. They even got scent that they spray out into the air. I was like, you smell that shit right there? Ron was like, no, that's me. I I was like that, and I wasn't right next to you. It was just like out in the open. It was like all this damn,
just a big old scent bubble. Yeah, you were like, man, what the heck? What's that smell? Hey, they lucky they canceled D25 because I was gonna flood their field out.
Oh, I know that's right. So what's up with that, man? You told me last night that it was canceled. I was hot because I still hadn't got my airline tickets. And there's a couple people I wanted to see out there at DE25, and and it was like it's canceled. So what that mean?
I know I was the same way. I even reached out to Kevin from Cigar Pop just in like. I was just like, man, how they gonna cancel this event? Like, and my whole thing was like, look, I get it. People are trying to be safe. And so on the one side, I never want to come off as like, though I don't think safety is not a high priority. But like I was telling you, is like, we just had TPE in pretty much in the heat of this thing in May. And nobody was wearing. It was thousands of people under one single roof. We didn't really have any issues. They just did PCA. There was no issues. So it's like,
right.
And then what shocked me the most is, I don't know Jonathan Drew personally, but just the persona and the personality that he seems to be like, he seems like the last owner that would cancel something like this. You know what I mean? Like.
He seemed like the guy that's like the hey, you know what? Fuck the rules. We smoking. We having a concert. And we out here. Especially for something like as big as the 25th anniversary. Because like let's be honest. At least this is how I feel. So it gets rescheduled to next year. Right.
That's cool. Like I still will attend the party, but it's just something different about when you know that the party was supposed to be the year previous. And it just, you know what I mean? So
you said, I think you were saying that people were getting their money back. It was refund. So it's not like Cigar Fest that they just roll the tickets over for another year.
So what I was reading was, and I know for a fact they refunded because they refunded one of my friends his money back. But what I read was that they were refunding the money back. But then when the tickets go on sale again, the people that had already previously bought tickets are going to get first precedence to buy again. So I don't know if they kept, or they're keeping their emails or something like that to reach back out to them. But since they're rescheduling, I have a suspicion it's going to be in the summertime. They're going to wait till it's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah, but let me ask you this question, though. Like, people that got tickets from Bruh Man out the trunk of the deuce and the quarter, what's up with them tickets? Because, those tickets didn't have your name on it. So what you supposed to do?
I don't know. We're going to have to, I saw the video the other day. You might have to give him a phone call again and tell him, look, Bruh Man, please, we'll pay you 10 a holding fee or something. We're going to need them rolled over or something, man. See if he can hook it up, man. Shoot.
Yeah, man. It's funny because somebody was making a comment on there to say, everybody know 2 or 3 Bruh Mans in their life. And if you don't, but there's some people who don't know who Bruh Man is and they have never seen a Bruh Man,
Right. And I would probably accredit that to just not being out in the streets or in the surroundings. If you get out in the streets and you out enough, you will find a Bruh Man.
Listen, if you've been around a black barbershop more than a day or two, Bruh Man gonna come in there with some stuff,
I bullshit you not. The last day I was at work, it was 7:50. We had only been at work 15 minutes. A guy walked into the apparatus bay and had a bag with Clorox bleach and some other shit. And he said, literally, I'm not making this up. The guy said, man, I want $12 for this. And I said, I'm good, man. And the guy that bought it, my coworker, is a barber. And I was messing with him. I said, damn, you got a bag full of shit? He said, man, it's like being at the barbershop.
Yep. And listen, and it's always like this random sort of selection of stuff. So when I say like cologne, meat, cigars, that's it. Lottery tickets. You never know what's going to be in Bruh Man's trunk.
Polo shirts, shoes.
Yeah. You'd be like, is this real? Is this real, man? Yeah, man. Look, it got the tag on it. Okay.
you know what they remind me of? Remember on A Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
Mm.
And when Martin was going to the back in the alley with the dude with the face on love, he had his truck opened up and he was trying to buy them shirts up off of him. Right. He said, how much you want for him, man? It's like $100. Man, we in the back of an alley, man. It smell like piss and oil back here, man. I give you $50.
Right.
All right. Man, he had Jordans back there, belts, all kind of stuff, man.
All kind of stuff, man.
Like you said, you've been in the barbershop or been in certain areas, you gonna know it, bro, man. It's a part of life. It's a part of growing up. I remember being a kid in the barbershop, dads buying DVDs, chick flicks, whenever you could name. They had, you remember the boxes back in the day, how you had to have the cards? The bro man was selling the unlocked cards.
The chipped up cable box.
The chipped up cards, man. I'm talking about, man. Hey, I'm at home by myself looking at all kind of stuff. I'm like, damn, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
stumbling into all kinds of shit.
It's always a hookup. It's always some kind of hustle. And the funny thing is, when you're not from the city, you don't understand what it is. Like, you don't know what it's like. What the hell are they talking about? It's like, you don't understand. It's like, they have people that do that. I have phone calls.
Hell yeah. It's called survival.
Yeah, and listen, you know anybody need to buy some food stamps? Hey, man, somebody need to buy some meat. Food stamps. Hey, it is what it is.
And you know, I talked to one friend and he was like, man, I ain't worried about going to jail. I said, man, this is life or death for a lot of people. This is survival, man. They ain't worried about no damn jail.
Yep.
They got kids.
If they go to jail, at least I can get 3 square meals a day. 3 hots in the cot, baby.
That's a fact. I might go in there. I might know some people. I ain't gonna get bothered. Go in there, lift some weights.
Go and know some people. Like you say, I can watch TV, lift weights, or chill out. It's some people I know. It was a guy when it got a little bit like, too hot or too cold in the summer or the winter, he'd go do him a little petty crime and shit so he could get locked up.
Right.
So he get out the weather, he was like, hey, this is like my second home,
I know a couple of homeless people that do stuff like that too. They just, when it gets a little too rough for them out there after about a week or two, they're going to do something to get put back in.
Yep. Wow.
But,
hey, so listen, we was talking about DE being canceled, right? Mm-hmm. And we talk about like the COVID and all of this stuff or whatever. So I was doing a little research today on the vaccine. So I thought it might be interesting for you being one of those folks, and I don't know if it's public knowledge or not, but I'm gonna throw you out there on Front Street. You started out saying COVID-19, what the hell is that? That's nothing,
Right.
You being on the front lines and having seen the effects or whatever, it's funny that we have a lot of people that say, I ain't taking that vaccine. I don't know what's in it, right?
Yep.
Some of them same people would say, oh, man, hand me that joint, man. Give me that weed. Let me get that. You don't even know what's in it, or give me the pills. I don't know what's in it. Yeah, I just want to be high. Give me this or whatever. But they say when it comes to the vaccine, they say, I don't want to be taking the vaccine. So one of the things I learned, I thought it was interesting, right? So some people say it happened too quick. They did the vaccine too quick, right? Mm-hmm. So, they said typically it's like a 10-year cycle for vaccine development. Right. And you got to go through all of your animal testing, the small group testing, the bigger testing or whatever, right? And for like the old stuff, like the polio or whatever, that's the way they had to do it. But like we have like new technology, which is almost like amazing to me, where like in the body, like when we get cold, like you say you had a sinus infection or you're sick or whatever, your body inside develops these proteins and these amino acids which basically fight the germ, whatever specific germ it is, right?
Right.
So when it comes to like these viruses and these coronaviruses, they had already been studying SARS,
correct,
and MERS, right? And so they were figuring out how to fight SARS and how to fight MERS or whatever. So they had this, development system where they were able to inject this mRNA into the body. And so basically what they did was they took a picture of the COVID-19 vaccine. This is like some scientific shit to me, right? Mm-hmm. So the COVID-19 vaccine has got not a vaccine, the virus itself has got like that crown shape to it. And so that's why they call it a coronavirus, right? So they were able to basically make something that has the shape of the crown, but doesn't have any of the virus in it. Mm-hmm. And then when they stick it into your body, that's what this vaccine is doing. And your body goes, hey, wait a minute, there's an intruder. And it develops the antibody or the whatever the side that your body goes to fight it. So it fights things that look exactly like the COVID-19.
Right.
But it's not actually the COVID-19. But
right.
People will say, well, I'm not going to take the vaccine, but they won't necessarily do the research to find out, well, what is the vaccine and how does it work, and does it work for you? I don't care whether you take it or you don't.
Right. And that's my viewpoint on it too, Unc, is if you want to take it or not is up to you. But I think that what you should do is still educate yourself, period.
Right.
Because and I think, so me and you talk about the Get Up Boys Reloaded podcast that I just recently discovered. And Slim Thug was a recent guest in there. He made a very good point when he was talking to Willie D about the vaccination.
Right.
And he said, if you now, all right, y'all don't want to take this vaccine or whatever, cool. Now, what if they came out with a vaccination that they said if they gave it to you, you couldn't contract AIDS or HIV ever again, or ever? Would you take that? And Willie D was looking around kind of like, I was like, well, but you would take that though. You don't know anything about that, or you don't know what that will cause. But for me, there are some things that I think is kind of a little weird about some things, how I've seen it in the past month or so. But like you just said, and like how I feel too, I know how we both stand on it too. It's like, at the end of the day, I don't think it's fair to try to force anybody to do anything that they don't want to do.
I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to force anybody. You should. I don't think it's the government's job to force you to take a vaccine. Maybe it's not fair for your employer to force you, but I kind of could get where they're coming from as well. But I like the people the companies that say, hey, listen, you don't have to take the vaccine, but you got to take a test every week and you got to wear a mask. Okay, that's fair.
Right.
All right, that's fair. I don't want to take the vaccine. I'll wear the mask and you can test me every week. That's cool.
Right.
I'll do it that way.
Right.
Some people will say, hey, listen, the herd immunity is better than the vaccine or whatever. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine, Right. But just some of the misinformation, they say, some of it may be coming from other countries or whatever. And the thing that bothers me the most is like with our people that are affected more, I'm going to say more worse than when we get it. It's like, man, you ought to be some of the first people to either try to get the information or to get in line to get vaccinated, but you choose not to because of something stupid.
But let's take it even a step further. So as a healthcare provider and in the front line, I'm not really that surprised by a lot of it, because it's like, look, you expect some people to get a vaccination when they're not even dedicated enough to take their high blood pressure medication. Or they're not even dedicated enough to lose weight to get off of diabetes medication.
Or
take their insulin.
Point.
It's just like, and at the in the same sense, that's life or death stuff too. I talk to people every day. I'm like, you got to take your insulin. Are you trying to kill yourself? Or, you got to take your high blood pressure medicine so I'm saying this to say this too, because it's going to branch off kind of far or left field. But anybody that's listening, for me, the way I think about stuff is I try not to let many things stress me out, because stress, in my opinion, or what I think or what I perceive stress to be, causes the initial strike, which is high blood pressure. You're sitting there stressed out, you're getting anxious, your blood pressure goes up. If that becomes a chronic problem, then your kidneys start to mess with your kidneys. That can end you on dialysis. Stress and high blood pressure is just, for the lack of better words, the gateway to everything, a lot of other stuff. And we don't help it by not staying active and exercising, and we damn sure don't help it by how we eat.
So, but why do you think that is so? When you run into somebody, and other than costs, right? So let's take costs. There's some people that can't afford to take their medicine, and they say, hey, listen, I got to stretch it out or whatever. Okay, I get them. But other than costs, why would you think somebody you run into who has the insulin that just says, I'm not going to take the insulin, or I'm going to keep eating the fast foods, I'm not going to move around? Why do you think that is?
I think it could be a multitude of a lot of different things, but I know for one, I think a lot of percent, or a big percentage of it, is they just don't care, or they just don't think anything bad will happen to them. So let's say let's say I have high blood pressure and I take my medicine kind of whenever or when I feel like a headache or I feel like I'm a little, I take it then, but that's not how the medication is designed. It's designed to take it every day at a specific time so your body knows when it's getting help or the desired effect. So if I have high blood pressure and I don't take it all the time, I'm non-compliant with it, and then I'm sitting there just kind of like, oh man, what, you know, and I call 911 and y'all check my blood pressure and my blood pressure is 210 over 160. And the paramedics explain it, hey man, if you don't take your medication, you're gonna have a stroke. You might not even be walking and talking no more. And then in my mind, I'm thinking, man, whatever. That shit ain't gonna happen to me. It ain't gonna happen to me. I'm good. I'm good. I ain't worried about that.
So you think it's like the Superman syndrome, like it'll happen to somebody else, it won't happen to me, or you know, I just don't believe it. So who or how could that information get to the people that need it so that they might believe what you're saying? Because you're a black man, you running in there to the black dude and telling him you're not taking your high blood pressure medicine and they're not paying attention to you. So, I mean, so how does that message get across?
You know, it's hard to say because even at something as small as I feel like what we have a big problem in the city I'm in is 911 abuse. It's almost like, well, maybe we could run a commercial on TV show, but it's like, we already got commercials about strokes, high blood pressure, diabetes. We already have it. Nobody pays attention to it.
But why not?
And that's something I really wish I could answer. And it's almost like you could literally sit there and see a loved one suffer and die from the very problem that you have. And it's like, for some reason, you still don't think nothing can happen to you. You know, like heaven forbid if something happens to your mother or father, let's say that they're a diabetic. They start getting all their toes and stuff cut off and they end up dying from it. And you got diabetes. And it's almost like you still sit there and don't, you know, for me, that would scare the shit out of me. I like living. You know, yeah. I like being alive. I like doing stuff that I like to do. I don't want to sit up in no hospital bed or be in dialysis 3 days a week, wasting 3 days because I'm there all day long, getting my blood filtered out, especially if it's preventable.
So if you like, so I talk about like, I'm gonna call them kids, right? Some of the younger kids or whatever. Yep. So when you ask them some of the things that they're doing that are not smart, you're in the streets, you're doing some things, you might get killed or whatever. Mm-hmm. A lot of them don't have a high expectation. But you know what? I probably ain't gonna make it past like 25 anyway. Right. So I might as well enjoy my life. So the expectations are not necessarily they're not necessarily high. So if somebody that is, you know, in their 40s or 50s and the blood pressure is through the roof or whatever, they probably might be looking and saying, hey, my daddy only made it to 50. I don't plan to make it too much more. I'm not going to worry about it, you know? Right. So, you know, so part of it is, I think a lot of it is education. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is opportunity. And a lot of it, and this is going to sound like a far left field thing to you. I think a lot of the problems that we have is that there's lack of opportunity for the blue collar workers in this state, in this country.
Right.
If you could, and I'll give you an example. When my uncles grew up, my grandfather and my grandmother's brothers, they had a job at GM. They had good paying jobs. You know, every 2-3 years, they would get a new car. Mm-hmm. They had houses that they owned. They would go on vacation every once in a while. And they sent their kids to college. So they had expectation of a better life, right? Mm-hmm. Now, after COVID, I mean, hell, I saw McDonald's somewhere they posted was paying $30 an hour. But before that, it was like, hey, you paying $8 an hour. I'm working all day. I worked at Home Depot for a while. And there are people at Home Depot that still don't make enough money to not collect unemployment. So they collect the Home Depot check mm-hmm. and still get some unemployment money, right, which is crazy. So I think when we said, hey, listen, the government needs to get out of our business and the government is out of things or whatever, we stopped a lot of the government programs that were helping the poor and the middle class folks that are blue collar. I think that's a lot of it to me, which has reduce those expectations. Because I don't think that I should be able to have something. It's either the people way up at the top or the people way at the bottom, and people in the middle, ain't nothing there for you. And I think it should be there, something for you. You know, summer jobs for the kids. Where the kids are hanging out on the corner, ain't doing nothing. When I grew up, you used to be able to go get a job with the city. You could get a CETA job. You get a federal job. You could get a job, and so what you
well,
doing?
even think about now. Like I was in the tail end of high school where just trades aren't even taught anymore. There was mechanic class, home economics that taught you how to cook, classes that taught you how to babysit. You know, dealing with baby. Like none of the kids now don't have anything like that. You know, so like you said, when they get done with school, what else are they gonna do? Like they don't know any trades. They don't have any skill set. Like shit, it's you know, it's. I look around at it. You know, even now, it's almost like I drive through my old neighborhood. You don't even see a lot of kids even outside anymore.
No, everybody's
it's like
inside on the electronics.
Yeah, everybody's on the video games or something all day long. And for me, I think about it in my head too. Like I always played video games when I was a kid, but it usually was in the evening times or if it was something going on where I couldn't go outside. I always would choose outside over games any day of the week. But when I was a kid, I remember even still being driven back then to want to be successful. I don't know what necessarily caused that in my mind. Maybe it was subconsciously seeing my parents and other people that I looked up to and respected and saw what they were doing in life. And subconsciously that put in my head, well, damn, that's what I want to do too. It's like you just said, it's expected of me almost at minimum to be like this. So something in my head, even at 12, 13, 14 years old, I was like, man, I don't know what the hell, I don't know what I'm gonna end up really doing or what I got going on, but I just want to be a successful person. Now, everybody defines success a lot differently, but in my mind, I knew that word. I was like, I want to be successful, you know.
It just seems like that drive is just lost on a whole lot of folks these days. And you know, I say, you know, you have people on the street or whatever. And when I grew up, there was always, you know, somebody was homeless or whatever, but people had skills, right?
Right.
A lot of dudes had been in the service. They knew how to work on cars. They knew how to do stuff or whatever. So, you know, you outside working on your car or whatever, putting the starter on, whatever, and dude come down the street, he'd be like, look here, man, you know, I'm trying to hustle up a couple of dollars or whatever. I'll do a tune up on your car, put the starter on, I'll rake your leaves. I'll do something to try to come up. Whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to hustle up a little money, right?
Right.
These days, it's just like this. Well, what you gonna do for me? Nothing. Just here, give me.
So I gotta work to get mine, but I'm supposed to give it to you without doing anything. It's just, like I said before, it's just like logic is completely gone out of the mind now. Like just basic logic.
But you know what?
I don't get it.
I don't have a problem. If you don't want to work, that's fine. I don't have a problem. But if you don't want to work and you're not asking for anybody for anything, and you figuring out how to do what you do without working, that I'm all right with that.
Right.
You know, I'm okay with that. You know.
And on top of that, don't be breaking in nobody's house, robbing, stealing, and shit like that. If you want to be a deadbeat, stay your ass over there and do your shit.
Right. I ran up on a guy. I was down in Philly a couple of weeks ago. Dude had bunch of signs up. Any extra food you got? Any extra water? And on top, you got any extra face masks? Dude wasn't asking for no money. He was, you have cold water. Do you have extra water or whatever? He was asking for basic shit, you know? So it's like, yeah, bro, I got cold water in the cooler here, whatever. Here you go, bro. If I had a couple of cans or something, I would hook you up with it or whatever, you know? Because you were asking for some of the necessities. So if that same dude builds him a cardboard shelter or whatever, he lived under a bridge and he survived, and that's the way he chooses to live, God bless you. I'm all right with that. You know, like you say, you're not breaking in my house.
Yeah,
you're not hurting me none.
And that, you know, what's funny, that actually really triggered a memory. A very vivid memory I had of when you were talking about the guy standing on the side of the street. I remember me and my uncle, I couldn't have been no more than 8 or 9. We were walking into a backyard burger at McDonald's or something like that. And there was a guy sitting on the outside, like, man, can I get some money or something like that? And my uncle said, no, but I'll buy you something to eat.
Right.
All right, okay, cool. We walked inside. My uncle was just going to give him a regular meal. he didn't want that. He wanted to be able to pick and choose what he wanted. It was just like,
yeah.
My uncle ended up not even buying him anything. He was like, man,
right.
it's either you get this or you don't want anything. They got turned around, walked off, and I was just like, must not be really that hungry.
He wasn't that hungry, Yep. I ran into a guy like that one time, and he said it was cold out. He said, look, he said, I'm just trying to get a little something to eat or whatever, right? So I told him, he said, there's an Arby's or whatever right over there. If we could just go right over there, you could get me, whatever. I don't care what it is, right? So I told him, I said, come on, get in the car, man. We ride over there. So we went over. They was closed. We go to McDonald's or whatever. I took him in. I said, get whatever you want, right? So he was like, I just want a burger or whatever, that's fine. And I was like, man, you want some fries or what else? It's cold out, man. You want a coffee? Get a hot coffee. He was like, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Right. And he took the food, went out in the back. He sat on the side, on the thing, and ate his stuff. That's somebody that appreciates you doing something for him,
Yes. Yep. And he probably that guy, if he's still alive, he probably still remembers it. Mm-hmm. It's just little things. And it's funny that you mentioned. Well, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No. I was going to say it's very important, right? If you say I don't want to give to anybody on the street, listen, give to organizations that help people that are on the street.
Right.
I give to the Chicago Food Bank. People say, why you don't live in Chicago? I said, no, I don't live in Chicago. Well, why are you giving the Chicago Food Bank? Because I think it's a need there. Is there a need in my backyard? Yeah. But if I can help some brothers in Chicago, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Now, speaking of, let me play devil's advocate, kind of jumping back on this vaccination stuff. Mm-hmm. If the government in the country, we'll just use the United States because this is where all this stuff. If the government in the country cared as much about trying to vaccinate everybody as they did with social injustice, poverty, homelessness, we'd be in a much better position.
Right.
That's one thing I will say. I see all this every day. You can't get away from the fucking vaccination. I said, well, where is this same energy when all the social injustice stuff is going on? Where is all this same energy when we see all these people that are homeless on the streets every day, can't eat? Put that kind of energy into these problems too.
Not only that, the thing I think is an absolute travesty is a military vet. You can be homeless, but a hungry military vet that can't get the care that they need.
I've seen it with my own 2 eyes.
I think that you, and now when you talk about things, and when I've been on the other side of the government things and contracts and the money that we spend or whatever, I'm sorry. There ought to be, at least for the vets, and not just limited to the vets, but I agree with you, these social programs that ought to be able to help everybody else out. But then again, on the other side of it, you have some programs, and like I said, well, who want to buy some food stamps? I'm giving you social programs, and you selling the food stamps to go buy drugs or whatever else you want to do,
Right. Or even think about this too. We are in a time, an era where a convict, give or take, can be treated better than a military veteran.
That's true, and that's a whole nother line that we could go down about convicts and what is your status in society after you have served your time, But again, right, we can sit here and talk about it, right? But if we are not willing to go and get on the front lines and do something about it, then what good are we? We are no good.
Right.
Everybody needs to be involved with at least their local level. People say, I don't vote, but it don't make a difference. The president don't make a difference. Okay, that's fine. But what about your local elections? What about the people that are right there that are doing things that affect your neighborhood right where you live? Those are the people that they kind of ought to know who the hell you are, Right. I was up at my mom's house the other day, and so she said, I got some tree limbs for you to cut down. I cut down the tree limbs. She said, stack it up out here in front. She said, now, when you get it all stacked out there, I'm going to call the councilman and tell him that I got this stuff out here that needs to be picked up. She called the councilman's office, whatever, and before I could get back in the house good, the trash truck was pulling up to take the stuff away. This is what I'm saying. These are the local people. These are your local, because when it comes to be election time, those same folks will want to give out turkeys and kiss babies and do all of that stuff or whatever. When I'm telling you I got a problem in my neighborhood, hey, listen, they're selling drugs out of that house. I got this raggedy car that's been sitting here that nobody don't own, or 4 flat tires, and they done busted all the windows out, but it's in front of my house, but I can't get it moved. Those are things that you need to be involved with on the local level, and you affect that. So then when that local issue is, hey, look, we got a bunch of homeless people down here. The issue and the answer is not shoo them along somewhere else. What can we do to help them?
Right.
You know? Now, some people don't want help. I got that. Everybody don't want help. And you can't help everybody.
Right. No, and that's why I say it's just me playing. I'm just thinking about that. I'm like, we've put so much energy into trying to make sure the whole country's vaccinated. I'm like, but what about a lot of the issues that we've had that have been running around so much longer than this pandemic that we still aren't really addressing?
Like you say, the social injustices or whatever. I used to say all the time, I say, you know, I'm a black dude, college educated, master's degree, but on the weekend when I put on my regular old jeans and a leather jacket, I become a threat. I mean, I've seen it happen. I'm the nicest guy in the world, but I'm a threat. Why am I a threat? I shouldn't be a threat, you know? And some people will look at you and judge you by what you look like first and who you are second. You know, I shouldn't have to prove myself to anybody, you know?
Yep. And like you said, you don't know who you're talking to. Like I said, you could be talking to a lawyer or a doctor. You don't, but like you said, you just are prejudging somebody. Like you just said, all during the work weekday, I'm fine when I got my badge on. I take my badge off, I'm just another motherfucker, you know, like.
Yep. But see, that's why I talk to everybody, right? Young, old, white, black, Asian. It don't matter what your nationality is or whatever. When I walk past you, I speak, right?
Right.
And it surprises a lot of people, right? So it's like, you know, I'll be sitting outside the cigar lounge. You know, we have all kind of people come by. You know, we have some addicts and some young people and some old people going to the barbershop or whatever. Hey, brothers, how y'all doing tonight? How's everybody or whatever? It surprises them. But again, a lot of times, all people want is a little bit of respect.
That's it.
And because you are walking around with all your worldly goods on your back in the bag, that doesn't mean that you deserve less respect than I do because I got more money in my pocket than you do.
Listen, color of your skin, how much money you make. You know, it's like, I think your upbringing and how you're raised has a lot to do with this stuff too, but it's just like, man, I don't get it sometimes. But
if your brother is struggling and you know that your brother is struggling and you doing all right and you don't do nothing to help your brother, I'm sorry, you's a no good sorry sack of shit in my books.
Right.
If I'm sitting here, I got a cigar to smoke. And I got 5 more in the box at home. And my brother is sitting there, he's smokeless. And I know he likes cigars too, but he having it rough right now. What it take for me to get those 5 cigars and share them with my brother?
It's just, and in your example, it's just a damn cigar.
It's just a cigar. I can get 5 more. He might not be able to get 5 more. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, you know, if I got a freezer full of food or whatever and I can't share it with somebody else, what good is my food? Yeah, I'm full. I got enough food to be full for a lot of days, but somebody else don't have it.
And that's how I've always thought about things, especially as I've gotten older. It's like you could be sitting at the oval table by yourself with all your possessions, all your money, whatever. But for me, myself speaking for me, I would much rather have the table with 4 or 5 people and we all are eating a little bit.
Yep. I had a thing at work.
Everybody don't think like that, but you know, that's how I think though. I'm like, it's like, you know, I don't want to be up there kind of alone by myself. I want to be around to talk and
right.
You know, when it gets quiet, you hear wind. No, I don't want no quiet. I want to hear laughter. I want to hear jovial people that are happy. And then you know why? Because at the end of the day, you can have whatever car you drive, how much money, that people are gonna remember how you treated them.
Right. You know,
that's what they're gonna remember.
I used to have a thing on my desk at work, and it was something like, when you get a seat at the table, don't try to build a taller table. Try to figure out how you can invite more people to the table with you.
Right.
So if you got an opportunity and somebody else can get a piece of that same opportunity and they're willing to work for it, I'm not saying I'm going to hand it to you. If you're willing to work, come on, let's go. Then, we could maybe build something together. But, like it goes back to everybody just expects things for nothing,
Mm-hmm.
Just gimme. No, I'm not giving you nothing. I used to tell the story when I was in high school. We used to have these girls that would go around and they would say, "Give me a quarter, give me a quarter," and they would go around to all the guys and say, "Give me a quarter," right? I don't know you. You won't even give me the time of day. If I say hi to you, you would look at me like the other way because you don't even want to speak. But now you're gonna ask me for a quarter. I ain't got nothing for you. Bitch, I got nothing for you.
Get out of my damn face.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I kind of jot, me, I kind of on top of listening to your daily posts and messages, and then I jot down things or screenshot things just to keep constant pressure on my head and on my mind to always try to look at the glass like it's half full and not half empty. Sometimes I always tell Nikki that I'm like, you always look at stuff like it's half empty. You got to flip that shit around and start thinking that it's half full. Yeah, I know, like you said, telling your subconscious mind, I know in my head every day ain't gonna be a perfect day, but I still got to tell myself that and make the best of whatever situations come in said day. So I wrote down 2 quotes today. They just, stuff just speaks to me on whatever day. Mm-hmm. So I just jotted it down. And they were by the same guy. I'm gonna have to send you his link on Facebook. But the first quote was, "Loyalty doesn't mean anything if money can change it." And I thought that was a very appropriate quote too. I thought
that's deep right there. I like that.
That's very deep. That's why I wrote it down. I was like, I don't want to ever. I want to be able to look at that and never forget that. And then the other one was, "I never lost anyone I needed. The real ones are still around."
Absolutely.
And that's the way I look at stuff too. Is like, if I lost you, that means you weren't meant to be here anyway. So.
Yep. I had a guy tell me, so I lost all respect for you. I was like, well, you didn't really have that much respect for me in the first place.
And that's a fact. And it's funny because in that specific instance, me and you already knew that there was no respect there anyway.
Right.
It just confirmed it when he wrote it. It was like, oh, okay, we already knew you didn't.
Listen, we don't have to agree in order to have respect for each other. You and I disagree on a lot of things, right? People would think that we agree on everything. We disagree on a lot of things.
Yeah, we actually don't. We actually disagree on more shit than we agree on.
Right. But for that to change what the relationship is, because all right, fuck Ron, you know what? Because he don't think like I think on this. It's like, I'm not here to change your mind. You're here to live your best life however you feel it is to be lived. But that doesn't mean that I should change my level of respect for you. You understand? Your brother Ak, we laugh about this all the time. When I started talking about, I did a review on a Padron cigar, and it was not nice. And he was like,
blasphemy, man.
He said that shit was just downright disrespectful. He was serious with that, right? We laughed about it. He know how I feel. He's like, I just don't understand how you could feel that way. Do we have a hate for each other or because we disagree on this subject? Nah, that's my man. Hey, listen, he said, you good in my city anytime, but anything you need, and I know, just call me. If you need anything up here, I got you. Don't worry about it. And it's one of those type of things when you say that's that loyalty. It's not the money that's going to make me change or make him change. It's the loyalty that's there. So those loyal friends, like I always say, when you call somebody, I know, so I ain't going to tell the guy who it was or whatever. So, he was into some stuff, came to this guy's house in the middle of the night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clothes was all bloody, whatever. He had gotten into some stuff or whatever. He said, man, I'm hot. So guy never asked him what happened. Come on in, got a shower. I got some clothes up here. What you need? You need some money, this, that, whatever. Gave him what he needs, sent him on his way.
Right.
That's loyalty. And I think he said until that guy died, the guy never asked him what happened that night. He never asked him.
Hey,
Never asked him.
That, like you said, and as far as our relationship is, I feel like it's actually really directly beneficial that we don't agree on a lot of stuff, because I think what I lack as a person, or what I lack in my mind, is kind of what you help substitute, and vice versa. So with both of us, it kind of helps us both elevate each other up and bring each other higher up. Because it's like, if we agreed and thought the same about everything, I think our ceiling would have already capped out a long time ago. But it's just like, we've been able to not only become friends, but flourish and water that friendship. And it's like, what we were mentioning last week, neither one of us are afraid to check each other if we feel like we're doing something kind of out of line, or if we need to talk about it. And it's like, it ain't nothing done in public. This is all, there's so much, it's funny because people know that me and you are close and we're friends and we do a lot of stuff online, but we do so much more stuff offline that people don't see, and it's funny. Somebody's like, man, I ain't seen you in Lee's chat, or I'm always around, whether it's catching a playback or if I'm ghost watching, like, just like I know you. Hell, like I was telling somebody, saying, Lee, if I drop a video, Lee might not watch it for 3 or 4 days. Do my feelings get hurt over that? No. Like, I know he'll watch it at some point. I don't, I've never been that kind of person that's, oh man, that's just not me. And maybe that's a fault. Like, if you would ask Nikki, maybe that's a fault of me a little bit. It's being a little bit too stoic and too nonchalant at times. But like I tell her too, I can't help but to be who I am.
It is who you are, and that's what I was just going to say. And you know what? I appreciate a person being real and who they are versus trying to be what somebody else wants them to be. Even some of these people online who, and you've heard me say it offline, you know what? I don't agree what he's doing over there, but you know what? I kind of respect the fact that he's doing it his way. I respect that. You know what I mean? Yep. So do I lose that respect because we don't get along? Well, I might not fuck with you, but I still respect your hustle. I respect what it is that you're doing. So, it take a whole lot more for you to lose it with me, right. It's just, and the funny thing is, we had a situation recently where maybe 6-8 months ago, the roles were exactly reversed. Mm-hmm. I talked to you about it when you was in the hot seat. Yep. You said, no, fuck it, I'm doing this, that. I said, well, look, nephew, I think you ought to do that, blah, blah, blah. You said, all right, I'm going to think about it. All right, I'm going to sleep on it. Next day, you was like, nah, fuck it, I'm still going. And I was like, okay, that's your choice, right? Yep. Then the roles reversed. Yep, and I was in the hot seat. No, fuck it, I don't care. And you was like, well, I think you ought to. And I was like, so it's like, I've been privileged though. Like, so I'll say this too, even if we don't agree on a lot, like, I feel very privileged to have you as a friend, because I feel like I hate it for anybody out there that doesn't have a friendship like we do, because that shit is genuine and you don't get that many of those in your lifetime. So, we disagree on stuff, but at the end of the day, when I'm thinking about it at night, laying in bed, looking at the ceiling or whatever, and I'm like, at least I have a person to be able to talk to shit about and vent to them. There's a lot of people out there that don't have anybody. They just got to make really important decisions on the fly or without any experience. So I fully embraced it, and I'm fully thankful for that. So, I don't take any of it for granted. And, I like I said earlier, I feel sorry for anybody that does not have that kind of friendship in front of them, So if you have a friend and you are afraid to check your friend, or if you feel like your friends can't check you when you're wrong, that ain't really your friend. Because I'm telling you, I got friends that come and tell me, Mac, all right, Mac, I hear what you're saying and I understand what you're saying, but I think you're wrong.
Right. And that's another thing. I feel like I'm right, but Yeah. And that's another thing I've had to learn just in the past 5-6 years. You're not always right. And I remember you telling me when you were younger, you always went out the way to try to prove you were right too. And now it's like, even if I know I'm right, sometimes, hey man, you know what? You got it. You got it, bro. You got it. And some people just don't get it.
My sister always says, all right, well, let me know how that work out for you. I ain't gonna argue with you. You think you're right? Cool. Let me know how that work out for you.
Right.
You know, and when I tell you to let me know how it works out, when you come back and say, you know what, it didn't work out too good or whatever, I'm not the one to sit there and say, I told you that shit wasn't going to work. I'll be like, all right, well, you know, what you going to do now? You know, that ain't work out. Well, you know, well, what's your next plan? You know, what you going to do? That's a part of trying to help each other, build each other up instead of trying to tear each other down. That's why we're doing our community thing with Cigar Tim and Swanson Cigar Reviews, Cigar Prop, you, me. It's like, hey, listen, just because we all review cigars, we'll talk about it, right? We'll say we all do cigar reviews and we do it differently.
Right.
We all have different ways of doing our thing, but you know what? That's cool. I look at some of the stuff Kevin does. I'll be like, Kevin is my man. I wouldn't
crazy
do that
as
shit.
hell, though. He crazy.
I wouldn't
like
do
I
that
said
shit.
Too, I gotta respect him because, and this is the thing I told, like I was telling you a day or so before too. Like I gotta respect him because at the end of the day too, I know when I meet Kevin in person, he's gonna be the same person that I see. I don't have to worry about when the camera goes off or cuts on and off. You know, and I have heard a very popular reviewer from a very, very good friend of mine, a trusted source, that said he was at a bar and smoker. The guy wasn't on camera. Hey, yeah, man. Camera, what? And he was looking at him like, man, what the hell are you doing?
Yep. So it would not surprise me to be at an event with Kevin and when he was doing the thing where he was like naked behind the sign or whatever. If we had something and Kevin is like naked behind the sign, I'm not looking at it saying, man.
I expect that from him.
I expect that from him because he showed to say, you know what? This is me. I'm good. I like who I am. I think it's crazy. Because on the other hand, so am I. I got my own level of crazy, you know? I went for allergy shots today. I don't know if it'll come up to it ain't gonna come up too good.
Oh, yeah, I see you.
And listen, they put the Band-Aid on there. I said, I don't want no regular brown ass Band-Aid on me. I said, what you got? The lady said, well, I got some under the sea and I got some space ones. The kid Band-Aids. Yep. I said, yeah, give me that. That's what I want.
and so that's what's fun. And that's kind of, I think, what's been so mostly unfair about me too, right? So it's like, the consensus of that I was just a serious person all the time. And it's just like, man, because and some other people that know me off the camera is like, I mean, I got a funny side too. I'm not just this stoic robot 100% of the time. Like I can be goofy as hell too. It's just, the position that we are all in and our goals are so different. So the goal that's laid in front of me, there's a particular way that I think that I need to handle myself to get to that goal. So that's why I appear to be this way, but it's like on the contrary to that, don't get it misunderstood. I'm still being myself in front of camera.
Right.
And still the same person on and off camera.
Social media is such a weird thing is that there are people that don't understand is that what we show you in front of the camera is what we feel like showing you. And it's what I share with you. And it's like OG Ricky will say is, you know about this because I told you about it. If I didn't tell you about it, you may or may not know about it. I sit down with Brother Ken. We sat down, we smoked a cigar. We talked about some stuff. Some of the stuff that we talked about, you've never heard on camera. But he and I sitting there together, we've talked about it. You and I, we've talked about things in person that we would never talk about on camera. So, it's like you're honest with who you are in front of the camera, but you don't necessarily get everything in front of the camera.
So one of my old basketball coaches, so during the summertime, we would volunteer at the baseball stadium and work concessions. And we'd make nacho plates and stuff like that. Well, shit, we making a nacho plates like how we want it. Right. And he was looking at us, he said, man, what the hell y'all doing? You messing with the prophet. He said, and I remember, I'll never forget, he said, we're here to feed, not feel.
Right.
And I was young. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Of course, you get older and you start to think, and it's the same way with the social media. You're here to feed, not feel. You don't need to know what's going on every day, or if I'm at the doctor's appointment today, or my car caught on flat, or it's like you know the pertinent information that you need to know. You'll know that. So
yeah, and it's like I give you what I give you, and some days I'll do a good morning message, and some days, you know what?
I don't feel like it.
I don't feel like it.
I don't feel like it.
I just don't feel like it. I ain't in the mood. I ain't doing it. And so, and again, we all have things that we work on, but one of my things is I'm not a fake person. So
right.
if I ain't feeling something and I turn on the camera, you'll look at it. And the people that are close and that have been watching me for a long while, I'll get an email. Hey, I was watching your latest video and something seemed a little bit off. I just checking in to make sure everything is good with you.
Yep.
That's different.
And you know I'll call in a minute.
And that's different than, oh, I need to know what's going on. What's the issue? What's the problem? It's just like everything good. So if I say, yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just struggling with a couple of things. All right, man. If you need me, let me know.
Right.
Cool. Those are the people. And I've met a lot of people online that I would say are very, very close friends that I met online. They'll say, well, how you meet him? I met him online.
Yeah, we're a prime example of it.
Oh yeah.
Prime example of it. So it's like, you never question where people are placed and why they're placed. You just make sure that when they're good people, you don't let go of them.
Yep.
Because you're not guaranteed to get another one that comes through.
Another very important lesson, right? People are in your life for a season. Some people's season is very short. Mm-hmm. Some people's season is very long. So when their season is over, it's over. You understand? I talk about another YouTuber who I was in his life, and we used to talk like every day. He was close. He shared stuff with me, his ups, his downs, whatever. Got to the point where he's like, well, I don't fuck with you no more for whatever the reason is. So that season is over.
Right.
Do I regret having that time? No, because I learned a lot. I enjoyed it.
It's a lesson learned in everything.
It was a lesson learned, and now it's time to move on. Do I got anything bad to say about him? Nope, not at all.
Right.
Some
things just run their course.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything can't last forever. So it's like you said. I think the quicker that you understand it and just learn again, like just try to find the good in everything.
Yeah.
And it transitions.
What Steve Harvey say, everybody that come with you can't go with you.
Right.
That's a deep statement. Some of y'all need to rewind that and listen to that again.
What'd you say? It's Sunday service. I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back.
The people in the back and people on the slow bus. Everybody that come with you can't go with you. Everybody can't. It's just like, and I'll use you as an example, right? You said from the beginning, my goal is to become a blender in this industry. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to learn. That's where I want to go.
Right.
Okay. Here we go. We all on the cigar reviewer bus along with you. We with Ron, right? But that ain't my goal. So I might be able to stand up there and say, you know what, Steve Saka, your cigar is shit. I don't like it. You, on the other hand, are trying to go somewhere where a statement like that might hurt you.
Right.
So it'd be like, you know what, Mac? I appreciate you. I respect you, but I can't go along with you right now because I'm going over here. And that's gotta be respect. You gotta respect where people are trying to go. Everybody ain't trying to go the same place.
And that was even the whole thing too about the whole put out more reviews thing. Is like I told y'all, I was very transparent in the beginning that this isn't the end goal for me. And that's what I said. Nothing. Shout out to my guy, Cigar Show Tim. He says this is what he wants to do. He wants to review cigars. This is what he wants to do. Our goals are different, so this is for him. Like I already knew I wasn't gonna stay in this line. I remember telling a year into it, I said, man, if I'm doing this in another 2 years, I'm gonna look at myself as a failure almost. Right. I don't want to still be reviewing those cigars 3 or 4 years later. This is not what I want to do.
This is not what I came here to accomplish.
This is the reviews are just, I opened the toolbox and I that was a utility tool, and I'm using the utility tool right now in hopes that I can get it fixed, put the tool back in the box, crank that car up and start driving.
Right.
It's like some people just want, man, I just want you to stay in the garage. I don't want to stay in the garage. I want to drive.
Right. I want to do more than that. But see, again, that's where you have to know clearly what your goals are. And one of the things that I've always told new content creators is that you can't let the viewers drive your content.
Right.
Because people will tell you, you should do this and you should do that and you should do this and you should do it this way and you should do it that way. That's the way that I would like it. Well, now who am I being? I'm being you and I'm not being me.
That's a fact.
I'm always going to be me. Now, if you don't like me, and people will say, oh, well, I like when you did cigar reviews, but now you start talking about social injustice and, you're doing this and you're doing that or whatever. I don't like that anymore. That's cool. Your season is over.
Right.
Turn the channel,
it's
go
a
somewhere
lot
else.
of channels. And it's a lot of channels out here. If you don't like what I do, that's fine. I promote you to go watch. That's why I told the one guy, go watch. If I'm annoying, go watch the person that's not annoying to you.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm annoying, why even tell me that I'm annoying to you? Just like I said, that, and that's what I told him in the response was, that's the only difference between me and you. It's a lot of stuff I see that I don't like. I don't even take the time to write on. I could write on a couple of people, man. This is some bullshit. This is a bullshit ass review. This is some bullshit, whatever. And but I don't. I just, hey man, it's a market for that. It's people that like it. That's cool.
Right. And I'm gonna tell you, the cigar reviewer that I like the least has got a bunch of people that love him. Yeah,
of course.
So
and that person probably could say the same thing to you. Hey, the guy that I like the least right now has a huge following.
Yep.
A lot of people love him.
It was amazing to me because you were the one saying, "Oh, I think you're gonna make it 10,000." I said, "I don't think I'll make it 10,000." That's just not. I'm like, I done kind of got to the top of where I'm going, right? Man, it went to 10,000. It kept going up. When it got to 12,000, I was like, all right, now this definitely got to be about the top. And now it keeps on creeping up, and I'm going, oh, okay, it is what it is, but that's not what my goal was. If my goal was to get on the YouTube and make a lot of money or whatever, I could do reaction videos.
Oh, yeah, man.
I could start a whole new channel that has nothing to do with cigars because I want to
have a much bigger channel.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. I could go off and do something completely unrelated to cigars and have a huge channel, but it's like, it's not in my interest, right? It's like it's not in my interest right now. It's like and I think that's kind of unfortunate too. I think that very few people really get to be comfortable in their own skin,
right?
And when you're comfortable in your own skin and you got that sense of level of peace, and you really are at peace, you're not gonna let nothing or nobody rattle that shit.
Yep.
Once you obtain it, ain't nobody gonna be able to pull that away from you, man.
And see, you reach that way sooner than a lot of people reach it. I always say it's in your 40s. In your 40s, you get to that self-actualization phase where it's like, here I am, it's me, feel me, love me, hate me, whatever. I don't care. I do not care at all. My wife will come home some days and I'll say, she said, well, I'll tell her what I was doing. Yeah, I went to Home Depot, I was here, I was this and that, whatever. She said, is that what you had on? I said, yeah. I was working. I was doing whatever. I didn't feel like ironing the shirt, whatever. Yep. I don't give a shit what anybody sees me in the street and looks at me and has to say about me. I'm going to speak to you. I'm going to still be the same person that I am. And if you cool, I'm cool. If you ain't cool, well, you know what? Hey, fuck you. I'll keep on moving. I don't need you,
Right. It's like, I don't need you to think or tell me I'm the shit. I think of myself in a high regard. That's all I need. Shit.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to my brother Randall. I got to give a shout out to my brother Randall.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen, we had a conversation or whatever, and one of the things we were saying is, you know what? I am awesome. It's just up to these other people to realize how awesome I am.
That's a fact. It's just like,
that is a fact.
It's a fact. I don't care if you think I'm the shit or not. I think I'm the shit. So shit.
It's like when I talk about my brother, and he'll say to me, like, it ain't really talking out of school, but he'll say, I don't even know why you really like me, but you're the reason why I kept coming around here, whatever. I said, I think you're a pretty cool dude, like I like you. You's my man, and for whatever, I'm a good judge of character. From when I first met you, I thought you was an all right guy or whatever. And we have a lot of fun and we sit down. The best times that we have is when we are able to sit in a corner by ourselves and just talk. Right. And we talk about stuff. He's a local boy. He been from here, big, tall, damn near 7-foot white guy or whatever. You see this old black guy sitting here with him. You see the two of us together and you go, what do they have in common? Well, there's some things we have in common. There's a lot of things that we don't have in common. But the thing that is great about the relationship is we can sit around and talk about it. I asked him the other week. I said, "Hey, Randall, what the hell is this damn Cecil County Fair? What the hell is this country ass shit, man? I don't know about this, right? Because I'm from the city, right?"
Right.
He's like, "Oh, you come out here, you do this, we bring out the hogs and the bulls and this." Oh man, that's some
real
ass
country shit.
Cecil County shit, man. And is he upset about that? Not at all, because the next conversation we might have will be about what the hell's going on with them damn brothers in the city, man. What the hell is wrong with these people? And we'll talk about it,
And that's where I think I think that's where you find your most valuable friendships and valuable relationships are deeply rooted in people and situations when you're able to talk about things that most people would find uncomfortable.
Right.
I think that's where you find a lot of value and a lot of authenticity. When you're able to sit next to a person and the filter kind of goes off and I could talk to this guy or this person about whatever and not be judged. That's when that relationship's gonna flourish. That's when that relationship's gonna really grow. That's when y'all are gonna be like, you're gonna look and be like, damn, that's my dog there, man. Like starting out, I wouldn't even think about this. I really fuck with this motherfucker, man.
And listen, that's why, a lot of people like they fanboy on Steve Saka and Drew Estate and Legal Provider and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'll tell that story. I said, I walk up to Steve at Cigar Review, man, I don't like your damn cigars or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But Steve and I have had conversations. We were out there in Vegas. We stood out there in the party. And we had a deep conversation in the middle of a damn club at a pool party talking about the status of cigars in our community. And
you would have thought that could have been a video posted online somewhere, how serious of a talking. Like you said, it was in the middle of a pool party.
In the middle of a pool party, and it's like, yo, Steve, yo, what about this, man? What the hell? Why y'all doing this? And why y'all ain't doing that? And blah, blah, blah. And Steve brings it right back. Hey, look, this is what it is, and this is what it ain't, and this is why it's not happening, and blah. Okay, that's cool. You give me something to think about.
And how you feel about Steve is how I am with John over at Crown Heads too. It's just like, if he sends a sample, what do you think? I'm like, it's all right, or I don't really care for this, but I can see the mass market really like, or whatever I'm talking to him about. I never feel like I can't be honest with him about whatever the product is.
And you know what? And it's like, I support John Huber. I was on his website this week looking at hats, right? I was like, I got a bunch of John Huber Crown Head hats upstairs or whatever, and I'm looking to see what's the next thing that I could buy to support my brother, because even though he and I are not close like you and I are, people say, oh, you're fanboy and you're trying to... No, not necessarily. We don't necessarily agree on cigars, but I love him for being who he is, and the fact that he says, I can't figure out that LeeMack912 and whatever. That's cool. I have no problem with that, because you know what? I really appreciate what he's doing. I appreciate his hustle. I appreciate his struggle. When we were doing Zoom calls and he's in his daughter's bedroom, toys in
the background.
And look, that's just so
real
authentic. And so authentic that when this guy puts out the next cigar, I'm like, oh, well, I might not like it, but if I buy it, hey, listen, I can give it to Cigars for Warrior. I give it to somebody that does like it.
And then you meet Luciano, and he's just as solid. So it's like, I know why y'all mess together. He's that guy. You listen to him talk. It's like, I just gotta buy it. Like you said, I might not end up liking the cigar, but I'm gonna support it.
Then on the other hand, you got those assholes.
Oh yeah, and even on top of that, 75% of the portfolio is garbage. Before we get out of here too long, I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Because how would you particularly define fanboy? Because I guess, but at the same time, I still feel like I'm not. I guess if somebody were to say if I had to fanboy over something, it probably would be Aganorsa, even more so than Padron, because they have technically probably more cigars that I enjoy on a regular basis. But I still don't even like all the cigars that they put out. And I feel like sometimes a fanboy, it's like, it don't matter what's going on. They gonna, oh, this is great. I love, it's like, nah, I ain't like that with no particular company, really.
So I think a fanboy is somebody that's going to like what the person does, no matter what it is, right? And so, and I'll call two people's names that I will call fanboys, right?
Yep.
And they're two people that I really like and I really get along with. And I'm not, for them, it's not negative.
Of course, I know one you probably don't name.
It is what it is. And according to their palate, they love what these people do, right? So one person is my man, Vic, the High Desert Man. Definite Crown Heads fanboy. I don't think John has put out a cigar ever that Vic did not like. And I've seen one that he did.
I've seen one that he was kind of impartial to, but he still didn't dog me.
Right.
It was because me and him talked about it. It was the whatever the exclusive cigar is, the Chateau or whatever that's in Chattanooga. I forgot the name of it, but when he smoked it, and that's what I say. You can tell by a person's face. Right. He smoked it, and you could tell he wasn't really enjoying the cigar. And he said at the end, he was like, "This isn't my favorite Crown Heads, but it's an exclusive, whatever." And I was like, "Okay," but I know what you're saying, though. For the most part, yes. I don't think Vic is running.
So it's two. I'm gonna say it's like a good fanboy and a bad fanboy. The other good fanboy I'm gonna call is our brother Kevin Cigar Prop.
Yes,
he's a Drew Estate fanboy. He loves
soccer fanboy.
Drew Estate. He showed he's got a at least one cigar cooler that him and Jess. It's all Drew Estate cigars. He buys Drew Estate cigars. He's stocked up on them. He smokes them. He likes them. He loves them. Right.
Right.
But then there are other people I'm gonna call on the bad side of fanboy, and what I think is that the intentions are different. So I don't think Kevin and Vic have bad intentions when they say, I love everything that these guys do. I think truly do. They truly do love what they put out, The other side of it is these fanboys that are trying to get on the payroll. They're trying to get the free stuff. They're trying to get some money. They're trying to get swag or whatever. So they say, hey, listen, I love everything from it. So I'm not going to call his brother's name, and I'm not going to call the cigar manufacturer's line, but they got some stuff in the core line that's just trash.
And I hate, and you know how we feel about using that word, trying to be better about using that word.
I know. We tried to do better, but it was just trash. And it started out being expensive trash.
Yes.
So for you to then go, oh man, this cigar is hot, it's the greatest thing, whatever, and you're all on social media and all you're posting is this cigars and this company cigars because you are trying to get noticed so that they know who you are and they go, hey, you are a great ambassador for our company. That's what I've
always loved and respected about Kevin, because even with him being a Drew Estate and a soccer fanboy, he always comes off initially, even in his review, hey, I'm reviewing this newly released cigar. Some people question my palate, and trust me, I'm a fanboy, so I'm not going to say anything bad about it. So if you're here to try to find one of those kind of reviews, this probably isn't the review for you to watch.
Not going to happen. Yep, not going
to happen. I'm not going to say anything bad about the cigar. Yeah, because he's telling me up front, and that way he's pretty much saying anything past this point, if you want to view it, you're on your own. It's up to you. But then you still have those idiots that'll still comment, man, this wasn't really a credible review. Did you not watch the video?
Right. Did
he
you not hear what he said?
He pretty much just told you, I'm not going to say anything bad about the cigar.
Yep. I'm going to like this cigar no matter what you think about it. No matter what you think about the people, it's all good. I mean, I don't care. My favorite cigar manufacturer, whoever that may be today, because tomorrow might be somebody else.
Yeah, of course.
They're going to have some hits and they're going to have some misses. As much as we love Aganorsa, and as much as we love the Supreme Leaf, we smoked the Supreme Leaf Robusto. We said, oh man, this shit is fire.
Fantastic.
Good cigar. I don't know if because it was different. I don't know if it was aged. I don't know, whatever, but it just hit the palate.
Ooh, that was a good cigar, boy.
Just right. So then they came out with the Toro. We were like, all right, cool. I'm buying it. Sight unseen, stack me up, Brumman, come by with the trunk. Just bring them here. This is going to be good, right? And then we smoked them and said, well,
okay. It ain't the Robusto, but
yeah, it's okay. It ain't bad, but it's not as good as the Robusto. Then it said, okay, Corona Gorda is coming. All right, cool. I love a Corona. Good size, smaller. We got that wrapper. It's going to be good.
Boy.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
This man, I smoked it in the first inch. I was like, man, what the fuck happened to this cigar?
Right. What happened? But now, you know, so like now we are both excited about the new, the Torpedo is coming out.
Man, let me knock on wood, because I'm gonna be sad if this ain't hit. Because you know how
I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be sad too. And I have said behind the scenes, you know what? I kind of hope that they discontinue the Supreme Leaf.
Or wait a few years to re-release it or something. Because I'm gonna tell you what, if this release isn't good, I'm not buying the next one that comes out.
I'm looking forward to it to be good. I believe Pravada had a size in between that was pretty good, that I like. Nothing ever matched up to the Robusto.
No.
But see, the fanboy would say to you, all of those cigars were each one was better than the next. That's what the fanboy would say.
Oh, let me tell you, you know what? Let's talk about another cigar too. Or before I talk about this cigar, I do think I have high expectations because the larger ring gauge, but it's tapering down on that 109 style head.
Right.
And I to this day, that's why I knocked on wood. I have not had a bad 109 cap cigar from Aganorsa.
Yeah.
The El Wince 109, the Warp Futuro, the Aganorsa signature. So I like all of those. And it's just something about that size. But let's talk about that bullshit that was the Perdomo 10th anniversary Maduro and Sungrown.
You trying to get me?
I'm gonna tell you, I almost stopped doing cigar reviews on that because I was like, no, wait a minute. All these people are saying that they're getting all this flavor and all this out of this cigar, and I smoked both of them. And I said, you know what? I'm about to start doing reviews because obviously something's wrong with my palate.
Listen,
I'm about to stop.
You shout out to the Perdomo family and
yeah.
And listen, I mean, as soon ago as last Friday night, I brought a brother to the Perdomo section in the humidor and said, this is a great line, especially when you are starting out. They've got some things there. I love their Habano series with the different wrappers so that you can taste the difference in a cigar with the same filler and binder with a different wrapper. This is something that you can learn from. I sent them down to the lot 23. I said
20th anniversary is good.
Right. But before we get to 20th anniversary, I said, great to start. And I'm seeing it in my head, right? Top row, we've got the champagnes. We got all the different sizes. You can pick out your favorite size. You can smoke through the champagne line, see how the different sizes affects it. Great. And what I said was, after you smoke all of that, you can jump into the 20th anniversary. You can jump into the barrel aged cigar, which is
the
not one of my
double aged
favorites.
is not bad.
Not bad, right? But what I said about Perdomo was, Nick is so in tune with tobacco that you can smoke any of these cigars and you can come back 6 months from now and smoke the same cigar and it's going to taste exactly the same.
That's a fact.
It's very consistent.
It's very meticulous.
Always going to have great construction. You're never going to have one that I had never run into one that drawed bad. I never had a bad draw on a Perdomo, right? So I got lots of good stuff to say about Perdomo as a family, a line, whatever. Great stuff. Then we come to the 10th anniversary, and I was like you. What the fuck happened here?
Because I'm looking at these reviews online, and I'm like, there's no way that we're smoking the same. And some of the people reviewing are credible people. And I'm sitting there and I'm reading their notes and stuff. I'm like, there's no way we smoke the same cigar. You getting ginger, caramel. I'm like, what?
When I smoked that cigar, I put it to, because I was excited about it and I got it and I said, well, you know what? maybe it was just too new and it needed to sit a while, right?
Right.
So I smoked a couple of sizes and it just wasn't doing it for me. And then I smoked the sun grown and I absolutely hated it. And
that was, man, I think I got an inch into the sun grown and pitched it. I couldn't do it.
The experience for me was so bad that I have never gone back to try it again. So again, fanboys say, it's a great cigar, whatever. You listen, Perdomo has had some misses. Those that craft series.
Yeah, the beer series was not, I did not enjoy that one either.
That was not good. And I talked to Nikki and I bought a box on his recommendation because you gave my other cigar a bad review. Hey, look, Nick, I'm gonna buy a box, man.
Hey, man, I ain't affecting no money in your pocket, baby. I'm just giving my opinion, man.
I'm just giving my opinion, but I bought a box and I got to tell you, I still got some of that box up there. You know how long ago those cigars came out. That was just
like 2015, 16.
It just didn't work. So everybody's got cigars that don't work. But here's the thing, right? When somebody like us comes and goes, this cigar is terrible. There are a lot of people that say, well, I won't buy it. So now it's affecting somebody's money.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. But if you are a cigar master and you are a cigar blender, to me, when you smoke something, you ought to be like Francisco, right? Francisco will blend a cigar like your cigar, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you said to Francisco, this ain't it.
Right.
It ain't hitting. Something, I don't know, it ain't hitting. They sat him down, let him sit some more time. He came back and said, okay, now we got something. A cigar master blender ought to be able to smoke a cigar and say, you know what? This ain't it. Now,
listen, I ain't tooting my own horn either, but like, me and you talk a lot. There are certain cigars I know I can smoke. And Uncle can tell you, I'll literally say, I like this, but I know a lot of other people won't like it.
And I say the same thing. It's a good cigar, but I don't like it.
Right. And there'll be certain cigars I'll smoke and I'll say, yes, this could go out in public and 90% of smokers, they might like it on a different level. Somebody might love it. Somebody might really like it. Somebody might say it's good. But the consensus is it's a good cigar.
Right.
I'm good enough to know if I pick up a cigar, if I can smoke it and be like, I like it because I can. Same thing with fragrance. I can smell a fragrance and say, I love this. Because the world, the masses, they're not gonna like this. It's too different.
But now again, you have to understand as well. And so to me, a good cigar blender and manufacturer is able to blend a cigar that they don't like, but the other people love.
Right.
Because you have to be able to say, if I'm blending a cigar, all my cigars are strong and spicy, but the general mass market likes a medium body, full flavored cigar, and I'm not making that, then I ought to know that that's not what I make. And I appreciate you making what you like.
Right.
But there's some things that you have to make that will sell. And if you make things that will sell, you don't have to worry about other people saying your cigar is shit. It's you don't like it. And I'll give you a good example. Steve Saka made a cigar for his father-in-law that passed. And, his father-in-law was smoking some kind of cheap, whatever, drugstore cigars. And he was like, look, I make cigars or whatever. I can make you a better version of this type of cigar. It's not the cigar that Steve likes. I thought it was a fantastic cigar.
I know it was to the point where you smoked. Yeah, you smoked. I was like, shit, I need to get one. I need to try to find a way to get that.
I smoked it. He sent me 2 of them. I got one there. It was so good. I just don't want to smoke the other one because that's it. It doesn't exist anymore. But I thought it was a fantastic cigar. So somebody that's able to say, I'm going to make a cigar that you like, that I don't like. He made a Lancero. I thought that was a fantastic Lancero. He don't like Lanceros. But somebody that can make a cigar and say, all right, that's a great Lancero, but it's not what I like. It's not what I smoke,
Right.
So you got to be able to do all that.
And that's why I feel like if I was blending, I would be more on the lines of like Rainier, Lorenzo, or HVC. He doesn't blend for strength. He blends for flavor, balance, and a clean finish. I feel like if you do that, those three, if you got good flavor, it doesn't matter if the person likes weak cigars or strong cigars. Everybody likes good flavor. If it's well balanced and it has a nice finish, I think it's hard to,
But if you've got somebody like Ock that wants the strong punch and wants the pepper, and you're blending a medium flavorful cigar, it's not going to be the cigar for him.
Right.
It's not just not.
Now, and see, this is the thing I would want to challenge too. Like, so even like on the, and this is what I was most proud, like when me and Ock talked about the personal blend.
Right.
It's not a very peppery, strong cigar. And he even said, they said, I like more pepper. I like it stronger than this, but I can appreciate the flavor in the cigar.
Right.
Shit, to me, that's a win. This ain't directly in your wheelhouse, but if the fact that you can even still detect the flavor, a nice clean finish, something that's aging gracefully. That's what I'm I'm more proud of the blend, how it ages. It's like it gets better as it gets older,
So I would not be surprised, just the way that Craft Series cigar went, I would not be surprised to see the 10th anniversary go that same way.
Yeah.
20th anniversary, fantastic cigar. I always tell people, listen, when you finish with all of this other stuff that's kind of lighter, then go up to the 20th. It's a solid cigar. It's always good. That's a great blend.
Like you said, the Habano series, I remember smoking a lot of those back in the day. Like, that's really funny because in the first 2 years I smoked a boatload of Perdomo cigars. But then I veered off and my palate kind of changed because Nick doesn't blend like Pete Johnson, like Dion Giolito. So I got my hands on certain people's cigars and I was like, wow, this is cool, but I like this more. And so eventually when I pulled over and started smoking more of this, that started moving more to the back burner. Not that they're bad cigars, they just aren't they're just not from my palate.
So that was the same thing that happened with me with Crown Heads.
Yes.
Where I was new cigar smoker. I was a new reviewer. They were coming out with new cigars. I liked it. I loved the Crown Head cigars until we got to Headley Grange.
Yep.
And once we got to Headley Grange, I was like, this kind of reminds me of if I had to. Hold on, I lost my lighter. I had to switch up cigars here. I'm going to the ashtray, picking up a nub. So I liked it, but then once they got to Headley Grange, everything after that, I kind of was like, this kind of reminds me of like my grandfather's cigar, and I don't know what it is about it I don't like, but I don't necessarily like it. But now Vic sent me that one that was the Court. Something that's got some Roman numerals on it.
Court Reserve, full court press.
Yeah. That was a great cigar.
That's a good. I went through a box. Like John sent me a box, so I think I smoked those in like 2 weeks. I'm I don't like the Headley Grange except in the drumstick, the Lancero.
And I've never smoked that one.
I have to send one. And the only reason why
I think you already sent me one. I just haven't smoked it.
Oh, and they're old. Those are old too. I think those are from like 17. So maybe part of the reason is because they've been resting for so long. But the Luminosa, hated it. Hell, I think John hates that cigar too. That's the cigar that he tried to do in the 60 ring gauge, and I could still find those in the wild right now. Full boxes.
Yep. But every cigar manufacturer, when they're honest and you talk to them, they will tell you that they had a cigar that they made that they don't like.
Yeah.
We sat down with Ricky Rodriguez over at Spartan one night, and there was one in the Amazon Basin series that he was like,
and I like that one, the Fuma M Corda.
Yeah, he was like,
because it's not as sweet as the rest of them. So if you're more into a sweeter, more like luscious mouthfeel, that Fuma M Corda is more earthy, little pepper. And me, I like stuff like I can appreciate everything, but I already know the one he doesn't like because, like you said, it smokes so much different than the Orellana, the Amazon Basin, and the Anaconda. It smokes so much different.
Yep, it's totally different, and he didn't necessarily like it, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm smoking this nondescript cigar that's got like a cartoon label on it, and it was getting kind of strong earlier. I picked up the nub. It's nice. It's very, very nice. Oh, you was talking about cologne earlier, right?
Yep.
So I'm in the Traficante, cigar in the muff club or whatever, right?
Right.
The Familia, whatever. So they have a cigar called RTB. So I like Traficante. They're all like Robusto, smaller cigars. I'm like, I don't have to review it. They're good cigars. I sit down. When I come out here, I don't want to review. I light up a Traficante, and I started with them because they had the Nipsey Hussle and the
Biggie
Biggie.
Smalls when you sent me was really good. It actually was good.
The Tupac. I like it. They're expensive, but they're cigars that I say I like because I just like what he does, right?
Right.
This RTB, I put it up on Instagram the other day, and it might have been KB. He said, "Does yours taste like cologne? Do you smell like cologne?" So we talk about colognes, right? So that was the second one I had. The first one I was like, maybe this roller had like cologne on his hands or whatever. And I'm talking about your grandfather's cologne, like old school.
He had that vet around it.
That old school cologne. So I thought it was just me and my cigars. I got them in two different orders, and I was like, yeah, it does. And when you smoke it, you taste that cologne. So you imagine tasting cologne in a cigar. I'm going, I don't know what that is. It's never listed as like a flavored cigar, but I'm like, nah, I don't like this. I don't like it.
Getting notes of Davidoff Cool Water.
Yeah. I was like, no, I don't like this. So again, everybody has a hit, everybody has a miss, Yep. I don't know. I think if I was blending and I had a miss, I probably would take all the labels off and sell them as bundle cigars and move on.
It's been done before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we've been up for almost 2 hours. I'm gonna go peek in the chat real quick and
all right. Shout out to the chat. I know we ignoring y'all, so if anybody is still around listening to us, y'all must really be interested or bored.
You know what we said last time? Yes. All right. Like we got about 50 in here, so hopefully everybody's enjoyed the episode so far. But like last time, y'all can put in the comment section of any questions or any topics that y'all want us to cover in future episodes, and we always will jot them down and consider those for some future streams that we're gonna do.
Yeah, because this is like this really is like stream of consciousness. You see how we bounce around from one thing to the next or whatever. And like I said before, when Ron and I have conversations, these are the conversations that we have. Sometimes we talk about cigars, sometimes we don't talk about cigars. We talk about a little bit of everything. What you think about this? What you think about that? Hey.
I'm laughing at Brute. He said, he said, Brute is legendary. I said, oh yeah, that Brute, that's some strong shit there.
Wow, Fabergé, baby.
That Brute, you put about 2 or 3 sprays on your neck, you're gonna fill a room up.
Hey, listen, Brute is the Father's Day cologne of choice, man. That shit was cheap. Hey, it's like I was telling you the other day, you said you had never smelled gray flannel. When I was in college, man, gray flannel was the
on
shit,
deck.
Man. That was the shit. Hey, listen, when I was married to my first wife, when I was dating her, I used to come see her, and when I would between her house and my house was a mall. So I would run into the mall and go to the cologne counter and spray up that gray flannel. I mean, smelling good when I got there.
And I used to do this shit in the kid when the magazine would come in and wipe it all over your shirt.
Oh yeah, man, you got the pages all up on your neck.
Man, my dad would be looking at me like, man, what are you doing? But
yes, sir.
seeing God of Fire, I give it a thumbs up. They're a little, if you don't mind spending about, it's really kind of in the same category as Byron, Atabey, like Padron, Davidoff. They're good cigars. If you have the expendable income and you want to try it, I think they're good cigars, but it's not something I would say is a must smoke.
So God of Fire, let me ask you this. So shout out to my brother Corey Morris. He sent me a God of Fire. I got one up there. Do they come out like different years, or does it always have like the year, just a single year on it?
They do have different vintages. I can't remember for sure. It's like either they come out once or twice a year, something like that. But there are different vintages, and you got the Anniversario, which to me is the least favorite. In my opinion, that's the least favorite of mine. But it's still a good cigar. And I'm even on record saying when I smoked the Anniversario a year or so ago, and it's probably the smoothest retro hell of a cigar I've ever had in my life. It was
because I got one that Corey sent me, and man, I think it's got a band that says like 2015 on it or something.
Yeah. So I like the Carlito, which I don't know if that's what you have, the Carlito, the red band. There's also a Don Carlos, which
it's a red band. It's not a Don Carlos.
Because I think the Don Carlos is the most rare of them. So you probably have the Carlito, which is a Cameroon rapper.
Okay. And then, shout out the cowboy with the Cameroon.
Yeah, the Cameroon. Actually, the Carlito is my favorite of the God of Fire series, and then I like the Series B, which is a really good one too. They're good. So if you got if you have the expendable income, I would say go out and try you one.
What do they run, the God of Fires?
You can find probably the cheapest one, probably around 23, 24, and they probably get up into the upper 30s.
That's not too bad. Is that Fuente?
Yeah, Fuente makes those.
Okay, all right, cool.
I like them though. They're distributed through Prometheus, so you guys see those crazy big ass God of Fire lighters and stuff. Yeah. That's Prometheus. Yeah, that's all them.
Yeah, I think I saw Cigar Obsession at one point used to have a Prometheus lighter.
He did. I ain't gonna even get started on him. The red boxes, the Carlitos, definitely check those out though. They're good cigars. They're good cigar. Me and Lee, we talked about that before, Lee, because I think we were pretty close on kind of agreeing. Like the most that we spent on a cigar and felt like we thought was worth it. And I think I was around like a $35 area, somewhere in there. And I think you might have been close. I think we had kind of the same opinion. Like
I'm going to say 35 to 50, but I don't think that I ever paid 50. 35 definitely was Atabey, one of the Atabey cigars. And the 35, believe it or not, was a Cuban Cohiba Bejique when they were $35.
Right.
So that was good smoke for 35.
I'm gonna say what comes off instantly, and it's crazy because you know how I feel about Davidoff, but the Davidoff small batch series is really good for me. I like the number 3, and the if you can find them, the Churchill limited edition. They come in counts of 10. It's a blue and white box. That cigar was like $38. I smoked it, and I thought to myself, this sucks because I don't regret spending $40 for this cigar.
Right. And you know, with Davidoff, I love the Yamasa, so I will always spend the money for the Yamasa because it's such a unique smoke. Mm-hmm. It's very non-Davidoff like.
Right.
I think it's a good smoke, and I think it's got a great story behind it. So the story sometimes will sell me on the cigar.
Yeah, and that's how I am with Padrones too. Like most of their Family Reserve line is going to be probably $22 to $30. For me personally, I don't smoke them all the time, but I like them. But
now, what's that expensive Padron you sent me? And wasn't that about $50, $40-$50?
Yeah, so that's the funny thing. I mess with you on it all the time, and I see Pariah's in there too. I mess with y'all all the time about it. But I actually was having a conversation with another person about it because they were talking about Padrones are just so expensive, and I said, well, look at it this way. And I'll give Fuente credit for this too. Fuente and Padron both have lower tiered cigars that you can smoke on an everyday basis. They both have really expensive cigars too, but Padron's most expensive cigar retails for $40, $45. I said, shit, Davidoff's got an Oro Blanco. Hell, Gurkha's got a $700 cigar, you know.
Exactly.
And that's so I'm saying that CN directly responding to you, as the saying goes, your money may vary or your mileage may vary.
Right.
What I think is okay to spend 30 on, Lee might look at it and say he doesn't think it's worth it, and vice versa. Or it's really all up to you what you think you. So I always would say sample something, buy 1 or 2 of them to get the experience, and then you will know if it's worth purchasing a box or something. I would never tell you to go blind buy a box of Opus X or something just because it's an Opus X, you know. Like.
So I'm gonna tell you, I do have a favorite Padron cigar, and people will say LeeMack hates Padron. I don't hate Padron. I just don't like the price. My favorite cigar, Padron, and I will buy a box of these, and it could be because they are aged where I buy them from. Listen, I had to blow the dust off the bottom shelf of these cigars or whatever, and they were in my shop. They were, because we don't have any tax in Delaware. They were like $5, $5 to $6. Padron, the Ambassador. That is a fantastic cigar. Every time I smoke it, it's like a little Lancero size. It's long, it's thin, it's flavorful.
Got some age.
It's got some age. It's Padron S. It's $6. Last time I went in, I just go into the box and grab a handful. And I never regret that purchase when it comes to Padron. Some of those other regular Padrons, $18, $20.
I know that's not your. Yeah, it's not your.
It's all right, but I don't feel like I got $20 worth. Like, what was the other cigar? Oh, we did on. It's coming up on Meet in the Middle show on Sunday. The Bandolero, $16. I'm not mad at that for $6.
Yeah, I like Bandoleros too.
That was the T54, Bandolero T54. I thought it was good. The first third, it's got a long setup though. It takes a while to get where it's going. That first third, you're going to smoke it. You got to stick through that first third. But when you get into that second third and the final, by the time I got to the final, I'm going, yo, Ak.
I'm about to light up another one.
This is it. Now the first third, Ak might look at it and go, this ain't hitting it. But by the time you get down to that second and final third, that's a great cigar for $16. I'll pay $16 for that all day long.
I agree.
Bandolero, I like in general.
I do too. And that's how I feel. I like Atabase too, but just how you are about Padrones. I like Atabase, but I just, for my money, I don't think they're worth it, but I like them. They're always consistent. The construction is always good. I like the cigar, so it's just like
I got to smoke a Atabase. Like I've tried like the smaller ones that are less expensive, less money. I gotta go all out and spend the $35 to get the big boy.
Go get the big dog. Yep.
Yeah, I gotta get the big boy.
So, but yeah, I guess we'll get out of here. We've been up for almost 2 hours. I know it's longer than we normally planned on it, but you know what? At the end of the day, too, me and Uncle always get together and we just kind of venture off in conversations, and sometimes it happens when you're enjoying the conversation. It goes a little bit longer than planned. So I ain't gonna complain on that because it could be the complete opposite. Something could happen to either one of us, and we might not be talking or we might not get the chance to talk to each other anymore. So
exactly. So you gotta really appreciate your friendships. You gotta water your friendships, and you gotta nurture your friendships. And listen. People that you haven't heard from in a while, you have to be able to pick up the phone and say, I ain't heard from you in a while. I'm just checking on you, Right. I called a cousin of mine down in Jacksonville. Shout out to LaTanya. She's in Jacksonville. I'm coming to Jacksonville before the end of the year. And I talked to my cousin. She said, I had quadruple bypass surgery, and she had been on my mind. We had been supposed to be coming down there. So you got to call people every once in a while and check on them and say, you good? Everything all right? That's what I got to always say. Shout out to my brother Terry, because brother Terry will call me just out the blue. And when I tell people he's my angel on earth, because I could be having a bad day. I might not talk to Terry for a while. And Terry always knows the right time to call and say, hey, Brother Lee, I was just calling to check on you. I was thinking about you, and I was calling. And the timing is always perfect.
Yep.
Always perfect. I was having a tough day. I was standing in a self-checkout in this grocery store, and my mind was somewhere else, and I was just standing there, whatever. And when I looked up, Brother Terry was standing off in the corner just looking at me. He just showed up. I'm saying that's the type of friend that you need. You know what I'm saying? That friend that will just reach out to you every once in a while and say, I ain't talked to you for a while, or just talking to you. Just want to see if everything is good. I shout out to my sister Danya. She called me today. She's getting ready to retire. She's like, look, we got to get together for lunch once a month or so, because you know what? I love you, and I don't want to lose touch with you. So don't be afraid to tell people that you love them. Don't be afraid to, just check in on people. Don't be afraid to check people when you think that they are wrong. Don't be afraid to have people tell you that you are wrong. Don't be afraid to disagree with people that you love that are really close to you, because if they are really close to you, you will be all right. Y'all will get it together. Y'all will come back together. And you know what? And it's just like real good friends. They'll come back to you and they'll say, you know what? Yeah, man, I was on that bullshit, man. I appreciate you hanging in with me.
Right. Yep.
Damn, let me turn my collar around and get out
All
the
right,
pulpit. Go ahead, Ron. Take us on out of here.
Hey, we're gonna end it on that note. Like I said, you guys we'll see you sometime next week. We're gonna try to do these weekly and have some topics for you guys to just discuss over. And hey man, on that note, I'm not gonna drag it on too much longer. You ended it perfectly. Y'all already know the name of the game is relaxation and enjoyment.
Facts.
Damn sure don't forget to be driven, never motivated. Go ahead and take us out before we get out of here.
Hey, listen, well, you know what I always tell you? You got to wake up in the morning and say, today is going to be another great day, because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between the truth and the lie. I said that today. I'm sitting here. I started early. I'm ending late. It's been a great day. I've enjoyed everything that happened today, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. And I thank the Lord for letting me see today. And if he lets me see tomorrow, I'm going to try it all over again and try to get some stuff right that I didn't get right today. So we'll see y'all next week, family.
Let's see y'all next week. Y'all be good.
Peace.